Hey everybody, welcome again. We are on week 3 of our Go Getters midday session. I'm Coach Sheree Vejan. My goal is to just give you some inspiration, some motivation, some encouragement, resources that you need to help you stay on track with the goals that you set for yourself at the end of the year or the beginning of the year. Um, so my goal is to give you some tips, some strategies, some resources, and most of these resources are from your uh, Ultimate Goals Handbook. So hopefully you have that, and I'll put a link to that book here before the end of the video. But today I want to talk about something. It's kind of a last minute subject. It happened yesterday, actually. I'm gonna pull up my little notes that I wrote. And so our topic today is staying focused on your vision even when others don't get it. And so what happens when people question or dismiss or discourage, our visions, our goals, and our dreams? And even if you read some biographies of how Starbucks got started, or how Kentucky Fried Chicken got started, or how, Amazon got started, it's easy to talk about millionaires and billionaires after they made it and how much money they have, but they had to go through a lot of discouragement, a lot of people questioning, how you going to run an internet and we don't even know what an internet is, and so you have to stay encouraged. Surround yourself around people who, even if they don't believe in the dream itself, make sure they believe in you. Because when you're coming to the table with something different or something big or something bigger or something that hasn't been seen before, people will try to discredit that. Now, in this case, I don't think it was anything big, and I'm trying to be careful because that person could very well be watching this video. So I'm going to change up the names to protect the innocent. So I had this shirt on yesterday that had my word of the year, and I usually wear my word of the year. My word of the year is believe, and every year I put, I have, I have plaques here in my office. I have about 3 different kinds of these around, and I have a shirt. And so yesterday I wore my shirt out, and I had someone. They didn't ask me about it, but they were like, "Huh." Like, believe, huh? And usually, if you know me, I'll just be like, okay, huh? If you didn't ask me a question or if we're not having a conversation or, I just be like, okay, well, huh? And just keep it moving. But I had time yesterday. I had time. And so I said, well, this is my word of the year. Do you have a word of the year? And that person was like, no, I have my word every day. Like, whatever happens, there's too much stuff going on in uh, our government, and there's too many things going on in society to be thinking about a word a day. Oh, okay. I said, well, I choose a word every year, and I've been choosing a word every year for about maybe 15 years now. And each year, my husband will make me a shirt, or I'll have a plaque, or have some type of resemblance with my word of the day. My word of the year. He was like, oh, okay. And I said, and do you set goals, or do you have goals for the year? No, I don't set goals. Like, my life is a goal, and da-da-da. I was like, okay. And I said, well, every year in December, especially when my kids were younger, we would get together and we would have our, I'm going to put the goals journal up here real quick. I missed the story here. I'm going to put that up for. So I said, well, every year in December, my family and I get together and we have our vision board party or vision board workshop, and we go over our goals together, and we create our word of the year. We have a scripture of the year, or we'll have like a quote, and we'll make our vision boards. Now, when my girls were younger, we also had our family mission statement, our family vision statement. We'll keep that by the door just to remind us of who we were as a family. So when we walked out, before we walked out the door, it would be there. And so I said, yeah, we do that every year. We've been doing that every year since 2009, and it's become our tradition. And that person looked at me and was like, you're doing too much. And so I'm transitioning. I'm transitioning from the old me to the new me. So the old me probably would have responded differently, but I don't know what I did. I don't think I responded at all. I think in my head I was like, I'm not going to defend myself, and so throughout the rest of the day, I was just thinking, should I have said something? Should I have not said something? And so I wrote down some points. This year, I am staying focused and not getting sidetracked. This year, I refuse to defend my goals. Now, as a goals coach, as an accountability coach, as a John Maxwell coach, if you need help with goal setting, I will help you. But I will not beg you to set goals or explain my why. I wasn't going to try to convince that person why it's important to have. Now, I did a whole course on creating your word of the day. I actually wrote a book on your year. And it gives you the benefits of creating a word. It gives you the disadvantages of not creating a word. But I'm not going to convince you to create a word of the year. So if you don't want to create a word of the year, or you feel like that's not important, then it's not important to you. If you feel like setting goals is not important to you, then it's not important. If you feel like not doing a vision board or doing a vision board is not important, then it's not important. But for me, it's important. And so I've decided that I was not going to explain, I was not going to defend, I was not going to convince. And with your own personal goal setting, not everyone is going to understand your vision, and that's okay. People who don't set goals won't always understand you. And you don't need validation for your dreams. You do not need validation for your dreams. Now, if you are a believer, if you're a Christian, if you love Jesus, you might need a little validation from the Lord. You might need a little, making sure you're within what His plans are for you. But other than that, you don't need validation for your dreams. And so I could have let that conversation discourage me. But instead, it reinforced my commitment to stay focused on my own journey. Let me see if there's any comments. No comments. And I wrote some other notes here. Let's see. Why setting goals changed my life. So I wasn't always a goal setter. Growing up without parents, growing up in Compton, I could have easily followed a different path. But then my manager, who I don't know if I wrote that inside the Goals Handbook this year, but my manager, Peggy, she introduced me to the power of goal setting. And it literally changed and probably saved my life. Goal setting gave me structure. It helped me to believe that my future could be different than my past or my expected future. Because sometimes if you're from a certain place, or you have certain parents, or people have certain views about who you should become, without structure and without having goals to wake you up every day in the morning and have you something to look forward to, it could get you off track. And it allowed me to dream bigger than my surroundings. It allowed me to think different than where I already was at. It let me look at the future of my life different than what I saw around me, even as far as like my family was concerned. And so that's why I always set goals. I create vision boards. I choose a word of the year. And, I have a big dream. One of my goals is to have $1 million a day. Not because it's too much, but because it's who I am. And so I want to give you a couple of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to give you 5 steps to stay focused when others don't get it. So if you ever had someone question your dreams or make you feel like you're doing too much, here's how to handle it. So here's 5 tips. 1, stay focused. Their doubt does not change your vision. Number 2, don't defend your goals. You don't owe anybody an explanation. So if somebody is saying, hey, you're doing too much, I'm doing too much then. And buy a t-shirt that say Team Too Much and then give them one for Christmas. 3, surround yourself with like-minded people. Find people who do get you. There are a lot of accountability groups. There are a lot of Facebook groups. There's some church groups. If your goal is to read the Bible in a year, find some other people who want to read the Bible in a year instead of hanging around with people saying, why do you want to do that? If you get up early at 4 o'clock in the morning, I used to have people say, why are you in a book club? Why do you get up at 4 a.m.? Why do you do this? If they're asking you why, that is probably not your surrounding. Get around people who are getting up at that time. Get around people who are reading books. Get around people who do have bigger goals. So you have that encouragement. 4, lead by example. Your success will speak for itself. And that's a bar all right there. Last, let go of the need for approval. Not everyone will understand your journey, and they don't have to. All right. So that's all I wanted to share with you today. I had a different topic, but this kind of, I was thinking about it yesterday. I thought about it all day, and now I said, I'm going to keep wearing my shirt. I'm going to keep reaching my goals. I'm going to keep doing this, and I'm not going to defend myself. Not in 2025. It's not happening. All right. Let me see if there's any comments. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for joining me today on this episode of the Goal Getters Midday Session. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on Friday.